Hi, welcome to another episode of Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Brad Wiening.
And I'm Dr. Paul Zalzo.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about activities that are recommended after total hip and total knee replacement, as well as maybe a few that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this is a common question. You have your hip or knee replaced so that you can get back into life and improve your lifestyle, get back into the activities that you like. However, there are certain activities that generally are probably not a good idea to do after a hip or knee replacement.
Absolutely. So the majority of people accept the fact that they can walk more, they can potentially hike more, but it's more the impact or the planting and twisting type activities that become more of a bit of a dealer's choice. So a little bit by your surgeon, a little bit by you. So there are some specific ones, Paul, that you encounter on a regular basis?
Okay. I'll go, then you go.
Okay.
Dr. Wiening, can I play tennis after my total hip replacement?
So I say yes. I encourage people to probably dial back maybe the competitive nature of singles tennis, and if a ball goes to the back corner at the net, they might not be able to get up there and really bend down low, but doubles tennis, maybe mixed doubles tennis is definitely encouraged and quite fun.
Yeah, I say the same. Doubles tennis is okay.
Hockey.
That's a good one. We get that asked quite a bit up here. And I say, generally, definitely not impact hockey with full contact, but it's not recommended because if you fall, you could fracture around your prosthesis, around your artificial hip or knee.
Yeah.
Having said that, I do have a lot of patients that do play hockey on their artificial joints, and so far, touch wood, I've not had a bad event with that.
I say the same thing. I tell them that you have to decide how important hockey is to you, but if you do fall, you potentially could have a fracture, a dislocation that has some component of irreversibility. So where your peak would be after that gets fixed is probably going to be lower than where you are right after your hip replacement. So some people are willing to take that risk, and often it's an accident. Someone slips and falls, and they take out your legs out from under you. It's unavoidable. But if you really like hockey, I tell you the same thing. Yeah, no contact.
And I want to preface this, but it's not really preface because we've already started talking about it. But this is our opinion because there's not a lot of good evidence out there. We look for scientific evidence, which means like a study where someone took 1,000 people and said, half of you go play hockey, half of you don't. We'll check in on you in 2 years and see who's doing what. There are no big studies like that. So this is more common sense and sort of our opinion. And almost this is what I would do if I had a hip or knee replacement.
Sure. They need to have like a total hip replacement league. Yeah. They could follow the injuries over time.
Yeah, that one. That wouldn't get a lot of viewership. No, I don't think, but it's an idea. Okay, my turn. Pickleball.
So to be honest, I don't really understand totally what pickleball is. I believe it's some type of racket sport commonly played in southern climates like Florida. Often it's slightly older populations, but I think
I've played pickleball.
And younger and middle-aged people do play it as well. So I think it falls under the racket sports for me, where as long as you're not doing deep lunges or lots of planting and twisting, I think it's probably okay.
Yeah, it's usually a doubles sport, and I agree. I think that's okay.
Skiing. We'll start with snow skiing because I've had water as well.
Yeah. Okay, so snow skiing, I tell people it's okay to ski. I say it's okay to downhill ski, but no moguls.
Okay, I say skiing is like hockey for me. You have to decide how important it is because usually when people fall, it's not because they're a bad skier, unless you're going on extreme terrain. It's usually either the 8-year-old who's learning how to snowboard or the jeaner that comes and gets you and takes you out, and then you break your hip or break your femur.
What's a jeaner?
Someone who skis in jeans.
Right.
Not good.
Okay, that's fair. So skiing with caution.
You decide how important it is to you, and then you decide. What about water skiing?
Water skiing, what worries me about water skiing, for total knees, I'm not too worried. If you can bend your knee, tuck your knee in enough to get up, that's fine. For total hip, I'm concerned because of the degree of hip flexion you need before you get up and get going.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Deep crouch.
Yeah, it's that deep crouch because you got to get into a deep crouch if you want to be able to stand up. I'm not a very good water skier, so I know that it's hard to get up, especially if you're not a regular water skier. So for me, I'm not a big fan of that. Having said that, there's a picture in my office of someone who has water skied on her total hip replacement.
There you go. And then I guess lastly, we've talked about this in another video specifically, but what about running? Like sports that require significant amounts of running.
Right. We're not big fans of running on artificial joints because it's an impact activity that will, in our opinion, wear that joint out prematurely.
Yeah, and we say wear it out, we mean wear out the plastic usually. So the metal does not break over time, but it can become loose from the bones because the plastic slowly wears away microscopically, causing inflammation. So yeah, in general, I think running for exercise is not the best choice. If you love running, then you can't tell someone to not run. But in general, if there are other things you like better, I think it's safer and more sensible to not run.
All right. Gardening.
So actually very common question in fracture clinic and in the office. So I tell people, yes, you can garden. I think you can go on your hands and knees sometimes to garden.
Can I kneel on my total knee replacement?
So definitely you can kneel on your total knee replacement. It is not going to break. It sometimes may be uncomfortable because of the scar or the amount of flexion that's required. If you have a hip replacement, you have to be cognizant of the amount that your hips are bending. I encourage people, if they're not going to be on their hands and knees, that they could get a stool. Sometimes they garden from a stool. But yeah, I think, again, just common sense, paying attention to the discomfort you feel in your hips and knees.
Yeah, my answer on kneeling for total knee is half the people can do it, half the people can't. Some people it hurts too much and they can't do it. The other half people say, yeah, I can.
But you're allowed.
You're allowed. But keep in mind the knee was not designed, evolved, whatever, meant to be kneeled on. The knee itself was not. That's not what the knee is for, because there's really not a lot of soft tissue padding there between.
You mean all of our knees, not
our
just
knee, even without a total knee
sure.
replacement, especially not a total knee replacement, wasn't designed for kneeling on. But generally, your knee's not designed for kneeling on.
I would agree. So hopefully that answers your questions about what you can do after you've had your hip or knee replaced. If you have any further questions, please feel free to email us at info@talkingwithdocs.com. And if you like this video, like it on YouTube or subscribe to our channel.
And remember, you are in charge of your own health.
See you next time.
Pickleball's fun.
I never played.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it better than tennis.
I
was skeptical at the beginning.
It's like squash and racquetball. You know what I mean? I like racquetball because you don't have to run quite so much.
Yeah.
Because the ball is a little livelier.
Yeah.
Pickleball. It's fun to say.